Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. I see that everybody's just logging in. Hello, hello. Val's logging in, just getting everybody logged on here. Good morning, and welcome to the wonderful adventures of Widget. We're in my car. I didn't make it where I wanted to go before it was time to start, so forgive me. Forgive me. Getting everybody in here. Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Road trip. Here's what happened, okay? Here's a wonderful widgety kind of day, okay? This is how my day's going, all right? You guys ready for this? So I get my car. I'm headed to my sister's house. I was gonna go live from the Sierra Nevada mountain range. That was the goal today, okay? The goal was to get you guys to the Mount Whitney fish hatchery and go live from the Mount Whitney fish hatchery. So this morning I start my day. I'm all excited about where we're going to go live with our Wednesday with Widget. I thought it would be beautiful to come to you live from Mount Whitney's fish hatchery, but it didn't happen. Okay. And Val's about to laugh at me. I already know. So here's what happened. Okay. You know, when you have all the best intentions, but then life happens? Life. Okay, here's what happened. I got up this morning, packed the car, ready to head to the Sierras so we could go live with Wednesday with Widget. And I stopped to get gas. When I stopped to get gas, I noticed my front tires were turned as I kind of pulled wonky into the gas pump. But it was in that moment that I noticed that there was metal tread coming out of my tires going, hi, we're going to pop in about 50 miles, maybe 100, you pick. And I went, oh, that's bad. So I had to stop this morning and go buy new shoes for my car, not for me. I had to buy new shoes on the way to our adventure. So I'm coming to you live from beautiful Pearsonville. I didn't quite get into the Sierras. I'm in the Sequoia National Forest, but not in the Sierra National Forest. So with that said, I'd love to show you the beautiful view, but we all know it's not so great in Pearsonville. Sorry, photos to come. I know, I'm sorry. Oh, how's everybody doing today? I got a late start, had to buy my car some new shoes. It happens, right? Anybody have anything they want to talk about? Anything that they want to get into? Tomorrow we have a class with Agla on mold and lead-based paint. So you may find that very interesting. Yeah, tomorrow's Agla at 11 o'clock is their webinar regarding lead-based paint and mold. Just so you guys are aware. And if you guys have any questions, problems, things I can help you with, now's a great time to bring them up.
Patti, I have a question. It's a question for you, but maybe also April. I just don't see her on yet, so maybe you can assist me with that. In regard to my Section 8.
Weeks.
Sorry, what?
April went on vacation. She'll be gone for 2 weeks.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. In regard to my Section 8 tenants that made too much money, they left the program or got kicked off the program, but now the significant other passed away. So she informed me that she will be going back on Section 8. So she had previously been on Section 8 for, I don't know, like 30 years, I think. Does that mean now her going back onto Section 8, like it's starting all over brand new in terms of I'd be required to do a lease, or does that mean like she'll just go back to where she was?
you'll be required to put her on a lease.
Oh, no.
Section 8 canceled and now they're starting up again. So it's like starting all over.
I've never done a lease and I don't want to do a lease. So I guess I would just have to tell her no.
We're only doing month to month. At this time, the owner's not interested in a term for time.
Hmm.
The problem
Okay.
is he's already in possession. So if Section 8 just turns on our Section 8, it should be rocking and rolling.
Hmm. Meaning like we could go back because she was on month to month because she had been on it for so long.
I'm being profiled right now, just so everybody knows. I'm probably going to get approached by law enforcement as to why I'm sitting off to the side of the road. I'm telling you, this stuff only happens to me. What do I tell them I'm doing? Conspiracy, coming up with a conspiracy theory for what? I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just being funny. I look like a terrorist sitting in my little Honda Accord in the middle of the freaking desert in 98-degree temperatures because I didn't make it where I wanted to go. And I'm punching my own fist in the car. I mean, it must look wonderful. Make no sudden movements. Could anything else go wrong today? Could anything? Don't ask that question. Shh. Very, very quiet. Now he's looking at me, pointing at me. I'm okay. Hi. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm a crackhead. Yeah. I'm not stranded. I can move at any time. Chris, where have you been? All hell's breaking loose. I'm just kidding. So I started my day off to the Sierra Nevadas. I was going to come to you guys live from Mount Whitney Trout Farm. I thought it would be great. And then I stopped to get gas and realized that the metal tread on my tires was showing. So I stopped at the tire shop and got 4 new shoes for my car. So I'm about an hour behind of where I wanted to be. So I am pulled off on the side of the road just past Pearsonville before the volcano, not active, of course. Just pulled off on a side road. Highway patrol's pulling up, waving at me, asking me if I'm okay. The only thing I really, really need right now is I left my shiwi at home. And for those of you that know, yeehaw, I forgot my shiwi. So now it's even more uncomfortable. Pulled off on the side of the road. I'm okay. Everything's fine. Julia's laughing. She knows what a shiwi is. I know some of you right now are Googling, what is a shiwi? Don't ask. Remember, my dad wanted a boy. Oh, goodness. All right. So, yeah, we're having my cheeks hurt from laughing so hard because this stuff could only happen to me. I'm telling you. But it's okay. I'm headed to the Sierras. Yay. Yes, I'm going fishing before anybody asks. I got both my fishing rods in the back. I thumbs up. I'm okay, dude. Everything's good. Yeah, no problem. I'm just on my phone with a bunch of people that are listening to my craziness. I'm telling you, it only happens to me. So, I'm in light of a recent problem, I'd like to bring to everybody's attention something very important, okay? I'm going to paint the picture for you, so play along. This is in a commercial property. Recently moved in within the last 5 days. Property manager gets a phone call. It's a tax business. Okay. Property manager gets a phone call saying that they set cameras up inside the office. Property manager says, okay, that's fine. It's commercial business, whatever. He said, well, we have video of the owner coming in using their key and looking around our property on video. Apparently, they were looking at some mail that came in that was sitting on top of a desk and some documents that were on top of a filing cabinet, supposedly. The tenant wasn't aware that the owner was coming in. No notice was given. Therefore, they'd like to terminate their lease contract. I don't know how much trouble the owner's into for entering without serving notice. The reason behind the landlord was they needed to check on the AC system and something else. But this was done after hours. And I'm just hoping the owner was ignorant as to what the rules are. With that being said, please be cautious. Make sure you're serving notice before you enter. It's the law. I mean, how would you like it if the mortgage company just showed up and said, "Hi, we're coming in"? Right? So be cautious. Make sure you're serving notices when you enter. Make sure you're only entering between the allowed times, which is Monday through Friday, non-holiday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if it's a holiday, you can't go in. If it's a weekend, you can't go in. Unless you make a verbal arrangement with the tenant in advance and the tenant allows you entry, then it shouldn't be a problem. But you cannot force entry on a holiday, a weekend, or after business hours. Just so everyone's aware. I'm on the side of the road. I wish I had better cell signal right here, or I'd keep driving and make you guys come along for the drive. It's beautiful. Confirm in writing. Yes, confirm in writing that you're going in on Saturday. Then if you get there and they say you can't come in, don't force the issue. Please don't force the issue. All right, Julia, I know you had one question. Do you have two?
No, just I'm hoping that I don't have to do a year lease. So hopefully it could just go turned on and back to where it was. But I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. Also be cautious with Section 8. We're unsure of where their funding is coming at the end of the year, or how and or if that will continue. Also, don't move anybody into your unit unless you have all the money. Of course, Patty, we would never do that. But wait, a Section 8 worker said, go ahead and move them in. We'll backdate your payment up to 90 days. On a verbal agreement. Paying attention? It's okay. Take in that Section 8 tenant. We have a third party that's going to pay their security deposit for them. You don't have to take funds from a third party at inception, meaning when they move in, unless it's a federally funded program, meaning Section 8 or VASH. So if it's your excuse to have to not participate with the government program, that might be the way to get there. Just saying. Might be an easy way to get you where you want to be. Also, we had questions last week regarding charging tenants for a water bill in LARSO. And somebody asked me if we could do that if we hadn't done it at inception. Could we then add the water expense to the tenant? I have since found the answer, and the answer is yes. You can implement that with a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy utilizing the RUBS system. As long as it's RUBS, because that means everybody is being charged, not just one or selected people. So if it's happening to everybody, then you're most likely can do it. Keywords there, most likely. All right, let me see who's in here because that'll help me figure out what else I need to talk about. Unless somebody else has something, you guys let me know. I'm gonna tell you guys, we got something new going on Widget's Way. You may see the Facebook postings or the Instagram postings, but we are doing something new on Instagram where we have links to current legislative bills and the assemblymen and or council members that you need to speak with, whether it be through email, fax, how you can contact them. So I think in the very near future, we'll be working on some kind of a legislative link page to help tie you guys right to those people. I know it's been brought to my attention that is extremely difficult trying to get a hold of our council members to tell them how we feel about their ludicrous new laws. But they haven't made it easy for us to get in contact with them. Their numbers are odd, their emails aren't published where you can find them easily. And my team has been working diligently to do something about this to make it easier for all of us to be able to tell them to stop their shenanigans. To put a stop to the shenanigans. I had a tenant move in a month ago. We required renter's insurance, which they said they obtained. I just received a letter from the insurance company saying the tenant never paid or even signed the paperwork. I suppose I need to serve a 3-day cure or quit. Somewhat difficult situation as one is handicapped and the other caretaker son doesn't sound so smart. Don't hesitate because they're disabled. Treat everyone the same and you won't be breaking any rules. Okay? Got that? Don't hesitate because they're disabled. Treat everyone the same. So yes, a 3-day cure or quit for no proof of renter's insurance, which is a material breach of the lease if you're using CAA. And I'm going through the filing cabinet in my brain, and I know you use CAA documents. So tell them that they're in violation of their written contract for that reason. Okay, eviction question. We are still waiting to get contacted by the sheriff for the actual eviction lockout date. What happens if or when it's lockout day and the tenant's not home and we're there with the sheriff? Honestly, Holly, and I'll come back to you, Sydney. I see what you're asking me. Honestly, Holly, if the tenant isn't there, hit the easy button.
Okay.
Okay, because what's going to happen is the sheriff's going to say to the locksmith, okay, drill out the lock. The locksmith is then going to start drilling the lock or use your key to open the door, whichever one works. They are then going to go in and make sure no one is hiding in a closet. That's their job, is to make sure nobody's hiding in there. And then they're going to tape the red piece of paper on the window. And that's when everybody, we do what?
Happy dance. Oh, I good. Okay. And then you said locksmith. My husband is he is not a whatever certified locksmith, but he changes the locks on all our properties. He's totally capable.
Okay,
Is that okay?
let me say this and you'll understand, okay?
Okay.
You have to have someone that's 18 or older that is represented by the owner or the owner themselves. So they're represented 18 or older. The locksmith qualification. Here's the thing. You're going to use your key, stick it in and see if it works. If it doesn't work, your next point is to drill the lock. Can
Right.
you do that? Anybody can do that. They don't have to be a locksmith.
Okay.
I am the person that always has the drill bit break. And then I'm looking at the officer going, oh shit. So make sure he has extra bits is the best thing that I could tell him. And take a spare battery if he's using his Ryobi or his make sure he's got a spare battery. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. He's a tool guy. I'll tell him to bring every tool in the toolkit.
No, just tell him to bring a sledgehammer. I'm kidding.
We're gonna take that door off the hinges.
Right? Bring dynamite.
Yeah. And also I'll email you, but I would like to get your security person just as an additional. I have somebody, but just in case they're not. And I know, but what I like about what you mentioned is your person you recommended has done this before. I like the sound of that.
He does this a lot for people in the same situation where they don't want conflict with the tenant.
Yeah, I don't want any confrontation.
And
Yeah.
he's ex-LAPD, ex-San Diego sheriff. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No worries. Just shoot me out a text message and I'll give you his info.
Thank you.
No problem. And then let's get to some of these other questions because I saw them in there. Sydney, how much is the security deposit with the DCBA may I charge when a new tenant moves in? It doesn't have anything to do with the DCBA, honey. It has to do with California state law. So it has to do with how many units the owner owns. They only own one residential dwelling plus the house they live in. You're most likely exempt from the security deposit law, okay? If the owner owns more than 3 houses, you're subject to the security deposit law, and the maximum you can charge is 1 month's rent. 1 month's rent, baby. 3 units and you live in one, meaning you have 2 rentals. That makes you subject to this higher security deposit or the lower security deposit. So 1 month's rent is the maximum. Do you recommend a month-to-month or a year agreement or lease? Not sure of correct terminology. Sydney, it depends on the municipality, the city that governs me. Let me explain, okay? And I'm sure I'm not getting them all right, but Arlene just showed up and she'll correct me if I'm wrong. Trust me. City of Los Angeles, City of Santa Monica, and City of San Pedro. I believe it's San Pedro.
San
Yep.
Pedro is the city of Los Angeles, by the way.
Bingo, bingo,
It's a neighborhood. It's not a separate city anymore.
Okay, so some of LARSO is all throughout LA County now. We have it in the Valley, in Sherman Oaks. We have it in San Pedro. Anything that's LARSO, some of those require a 1-year lease at Hello. City of Santa Monica requires a 1-year lease at Hello, and I believe the city of West Hollywood does also.
They do.
West Hollywood does not. There's Arlene piping in. Thank you, baby.
They do.
Okay, but what's
They
the
do.
practical consequence? Because I had somebody who insisted on a 6-month lease, and I was okay with that because we decided the worst they could do is hold me to a 1 year. And I was like, okay, well, that's not the end of the world.
I can't answer what the repercussions are. That's not my forte.
Right, but I mean, I can't see what, other than enforcing 1 year on you, like,
Right. I don't know what the municipality would do. It would be a violation of their municipal code. Haha.
right, but it was requested for by the tenant, so.
I
know.
understand. But if the city doesn't require a 1-year lease, here's the answer to the question, then I'd put them on a month-to-month. Wait, Patty, you put everybody on a month-to-month? Yep. Let me explain something to you guys. 30 years ago, not even 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was a change in the real estate market. And whatever was going on, and people were moving into rental homes and only living there for 2 months and then moving out because they were buying a house. Make sense? They were buying a house. So with that being said, we don't have that problem. People are moving in and staying there for decades, okay? We're not having the short-term rental. They got to move out in 30 days. They're moving out in 90 days. It was very expensive for us to flip those vacant units. That isn't a problem anymore. We don't have that shift in the real estate market. That isn't an issue, but we're still signing 1-year contracts. A 1-year contract says that for 1 year, the landlord will not change the rules, change the rent, and will provide me with reasonable accommodations. Patty, what are you saying? Well, in a nice way, a lease helps a tenant, not the landlord. Oh no, Patty, it helps the landlord. It guarantees that the tenant is going to live there for that year. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, just to clarify, you're talking about a month-to-month lease versus a fixed term lease. They're both leases. You definitely want either one in writing.
You want anything you do in writing, you absolutely want a written contract, but what we're discussing is the difference between a 1-year term and a month-to-month agreement and how that helps or hurts a landlord. 1-year leases hurt landlords because you can't change the rules, you can't change the rent, You can't. And in the event of an oh holy crap, in other words, you added a flood, okay? You can't terminate the contract easily and tell them, I'm sorry, I can't provide habitable dwelling. You're gonna have to find somewhere else to live. If they're in a term, you have to provide them with reasonable accommodations. Okay? So it can be a huge hindrance. The reason corporate America keeps pushing 1-year lease terms is in our management contract, we charge the owner to renew that 1-year lease. So it's a way for the management company to make money. Ding. They charge you 150, 200 bucks for a new lease contract because they're contacting the tenant, negotiating new terms, maybe doing a rent increase. They're working, right? They're making money. But a month-to-month contract, in my professional opinion, is a much better place for the landlord to be in. You don't like them? You can tell them to get out in 30 days. You need to change a rule because you didn't have it in your original contract or it was never an issue before. We can do a 30-day notice and change the terms of tenancy and add a new rule. We can add a new provision. We can do things. If they're in a lease term, you have to wait until the term's over to serve notice, unless it's for non-renewal or required by law. Ooh, ouch. Month to month is a better position for the landlord to be in. And years ago, they used to say, oh no, a landlord's in a better position in a lease contract. We can't force them to live there. If they move out and break their 1-year lease, we have to re-rent the property at the same amount that it was being rented for. Okay, we have to find a new tenant. If we can't find a tenant at that rent, we have to lower the rent by $25 every week until we find a new qualified applicant. The day the new tenant moves in, the old tenant that was exiting owes rent all the way until the day before. The day the new tenant moves in, they don't owe rent anymore. But then we got to mitigate the damages. We got to figure out how much do we lose in advertising? Did we pay a leasing commission? Because these are all expenses that person that broke their lease has to pay. But if they're on a month to month, it's so much easier. Then you're not having to do all of that. Okay, so if your municipality doesn't require it, you may want to do a 3-month lease, a 6-month lease, or just a month to month at hello, because the owner isn't interested in a commitment for time. Ooh, wait a minute. If the municipality, meaning the city that we're in, doesn't require us to start with a 1-year contract, let's totally say we're in, and I'm going to pick a city I'm very familiar with, so forgive me, the city of Riverside, in Riverside County. Okay, in Riverside County. Someone wants to rent from me and they're insisting I give them a 1-year lease term to start. And I say, no, I'm sorry. The owner isn't interested in a term for time. They only want a month to month. Some people will not rent from you because you don't give them a 1-year term at hello. Usually it's Section 8. The owner isn't interested in a term for time is the key words. Month-to-month tenancy is a much better position for the landlord to be in because you can change rules with a 30-day notice. And if they've lived there less than a year, you can tell them to get out with a 30-day notice. For the most part. I hope that answered that question. A balcony, a retrofitting company is who you're looking for, Grace. And the apartment association has a plethora of them. And I know I have a couple that my team has recently worked with, but I don't know their name off the top of my head. I can see their faces though. I met them at the AGLA trade show. So I know they're in AGLA's database. And ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you real quick, okay? And this mostly comes from the ladies. You know how we go shopping when we want to buy something? Okay, bye, Chris. We'll see you soon. You guys know how we go shopping when we want to buy something. And what I'm talking about is when we go shopping. Okay, let's say we're going to buy a new couch. Okay, ladies, what do? We go find the couch we want, right? And then we go find who has it on sale, right? We go look for the best deal, the best whatever. You can do the same thing with your vendors when you're trying to get work done on a property. Call them all, play them against each other, just like you would play Home Depot against Lowe's. Oh, this advertised price is this. Same thing, go after them. If they have a special, say, hey, your competition's offering this special. Will you honor it? Okay. They all want your money. They'll all take it just fine. Make sure you're spending it wisely. Anybody have anything else? Otherwise, this girl's getting on the road. I got to get a fish on. I know I'm anxious. I'd show you the mountains behind me, but I'm telling you, it ain't nothing to look at. Anybody that knows where I'm at would know. Yeah, Pearsonville ain't that pretty. It's past the Sequoia National Forest and before you get to the Sierra National Forest. It's kind of in between the two.
Hi, Patty. I have a question.
Hi, how are you? You look great.
Good.
Hey,
Thank you. So do you. It's hot out here.
can you?
My favorite blondie.
What do you-
Patty, my question is this. So I have a tenant in the city of Whittier, and she rented the unit, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago with the refrigerator there. So the light in her refrigerator stopped working, and this is a very problematic tenant, you know, one of those. And so we sent somebody down to technician to look at the light, and they couldn't fix it. So they told me that I had to call another technician. It took me about a week and a half to, like, you know, get the call back. In the meantime, you know, this is one of those tenants. She sent a message to me and the owner saying that she had reported us to the health department because the light didn't work in her refrigerator. Okay. And so whatever. I ignored it, and I finally just bought her a new refrigerator and had them go deliver it and take out the old one. But my question was, can you get reported to the health department because the light in your refrigerator doesn't work?
You can report in what to the health department. It doesn't mean they're going to open a ticket because of it.
Right, of course, you can report anything. But is that a valid, like, open a ticket complaint?
We're going to find out, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, I guess so, right?
In the event it is an open complaint, we need to talk, girl, because I want to know all about this from sunrise to sundown, because this is something we all need to share and be aware of.
Yeah, she sent me a screenshot of the open, you know, how she reported it. So, I mean, I was just like, okay, wow. I mean, I didn't say anything about that. I just, you know, I emailed her the very next day and said, we couldn't find a technician to fix your refrigerator. We're getting you a new one, and here it is.
The light bulb. She's going to ask you for a rent credit, screaming that it's a habitability issue. You watch.
Well, she hasn't yet. And
Oh,
she like, so after we changed the refrigerator, she wrote me and like, oh, thank you so much. You know, I love my new refrigerator, like being like the nicest person in the world.
that's what she wanted. She got what she wanted.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, whatever, it's fine. But I was like so curious about, is this like a feasible open ticket? I was just like, I guess you're right. We're going to find out.
Julia, no, it is not a habitability issue. That's what we're giggling about. She's going to claim it is, though. Trust me, she wants that money, man.
I'll keep you posted.
That is thank you for the laugh of the day. Okay. I thought
Yeah.
I was
You thought you heard it all.
I'm telling you, I've heard some pretty interesting things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Patty, I had this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's quite a story. I had the sidewalks done this week, and they did a phenomenal job.
Good. And the sidewalks were all messed up from tree roots, right?
Correct. So they were raised, and I found out that even though they're owned by the city, the property owner is liable.
Exactly.
And it was going to be very, very expensive to remove all the concrete. And so I found a company that has a proprietary product that they shave it and smooth it. And I couldn't believe, and it doesn't look horrible like the black asphalt. And I think I sent you pictures, and it's really terrific. And it was so much less expensive. They did one strip that was the width of the sidewalk, from the curb to my property line where the grass is. And it was only
Yes.
$225.
Okay, you're now being asked, wait, is this for all cities? Wait, Arlene, can you share the company info, please?
Yes.
For the most part, it's for a lot of cities, especially if they're unincorporated. It depends on the city, whether who's responsible for what happens at the curb, Julia. And please put that in there. And I'm so ecstatic that they only charge $250 to level out the sidewalk.
$225.
$225 to level out the sidewalk and remove the tripping hazard is a small price to pay to avoid a costly lawsuit.
That's what I thought.
Sydney, you want to know what should be included in a rental unit? What should be included in the rental unit should be the oven and stove, the oven stove combo. Okay. I'm trying to think what other appliances have to be included. And the reason I tell you to include the oven stove is because it could become a habitability issue. So you don't want to have to fix the tenant's stove if it breaks. Don't work that way. So if you're providing a stove, and you should provide a stove because you don't want them messing with gas appliances, a heater is required, absolutely.
Yeah.
As
Is
far
a
as
dishwasher not required, but is it a nice amenity to have?
amenity, yeah.
Washer, dryer?
A washer dryer hookups are nice, but tenants usually have their own machines.
Okay.
And I always make sure my rentals have a garbage disposal, but that's me.
Yeah, I do. I was just curious that
You
What about the fan in the bathroom
Yeah.
and kitchen?
if you're gonna put in new fart fans, and that's what I call them, they're exhaust fans, but
Yeah.
I call them fart fans. If you're gonna put in new fart fans, do yourself a favor, okay? They make a new fart fan that is moisture detecting.
Okay.
The tenant can't turn it on or off. What that does is keep mold out of your bathrooms.
Okay.
Because it detects moisture, it kicks on the exhaust fan until it detects there's no more moisture. Then it turns it off.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, but Patty, they're really expensive. So what I did was I just bought a less expensive one and wired it to the light switch.
You can
So
do
whenever they go in, they
You
have to
can-
turn it on.
have it to the light switch. It just puts it in control of the tenant. So
Mhm.
I'm talking like 250, $300, right? For the expense.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
It's a small price to pay when you're upgrading it anyway. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. And
Yeah.
not to rely on a tenant to help you in a mold situation, especially because
Mhm.
insurance companies don't cover damage caused by mold.
Yeah, and I just put in those new plugs that you suggested, and they're so excited because they have now USB, the C plug and regular power.
Look how easy that was. And then I'm going to tell you guys, next time you have to get a thermostat and your AC and heater guys there going, you need a new thermostat, ask them how much it is to upgrade to the Nest. And you're like, wait, Patty, I don't know if I like this. It means that the tenant can control the temperature from home, from work, from anywhere, which is really
Mm.
nice amenity for them because they can tell the AC to kick on an hour before they get home from work, but not have to run it all day. So when you guys are doing upgrades on your system or you have to do something that's repaired, see what the upgrade is. Having a Nest system, having a couple of USB outlet. Yes, next Wednesday, got you. Having USB outlets is a great thing to have in your property. It's a great amenity. That's what Arlene's talking about, is having some of the electrical outlets that are also USB. Key places to
Where
have.
do you like to put them? Patty, where do you like to put them?
That's what I was just going to say. Key places to install those would be the same places you charge your electronic devices. One, usually in the living room. One, usually in the kitchen or dining room, because let's face it, we spend a lot of time there. And the third one in the bedroom.
Gotcha.
And people ask me, well, where would you put them? And this is my question. Where do you charge your phone and tablet? Put them there. Humans are creatures of habit. So put them where you charge your stuff.
So Patty, Nest is for central air, correct?
It's either that or the heating system. It just depends on what it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. But making these little upgrades towards something that's more convenient or the new technology, it's not that much of a difference. A regular outlet is $12, I want to say. And we upgraded to a $20 one that has USB ports. And now we can say that we have a tech savvy home.
It wasn't that much. They came as a 2-pack for $29 on Amazon.
Okay, you guys paying attention? It's a way to put lipstick on a pig. It's an easy way to do small, little, inexpensive upgrades to your home and get more rent or more bang for your buck if you're selling too. But usually in the rental market, adding some USB outlets is a huge amenity. Huge. Huge. And it's fairly inexpensive. And I installed them in my house for the same damn reason. And you want to know the best place if you have a kitchen island that has an electrical outlet in it? Make that one USB. You know how many kitchen gadgets are now USB chargeable? Hold on, I'm thinking in my little blonde brain. I have an electric wine bottle opener that's USB chargeable. I have a hand mixer that's USB chargeable. I have a couple of kitchen gadgets that are USB. Hey, technology. I even have automatic pepper and salt grinders that charge USB. And when you tip them over, they do the crank, crank, crank thing, so you don't have to. You guys are laughing, Patty. How lazy could you be? I have carpal tunnel in this hand, so I can't crank, crank, crank or grind it easy. I need one that I could just tip and it grinds, and that's what I bought. All right, anybody else have anything? Otherwise, I'm going to get on the road. I've been sitting in this turnout for like 40 minutes. At least no more sheriffs came by. I see Caltrans over there, though.
Hey, let me ask you one more quick question. As far as air conditioning units that are in the property, and they were put there by the owner, are we responsible for cleaning out the filters, or is that the tenant's responsibility?
Are filters maintenance?
Yes, I
do
believe
it.
so.
I do it because I do it much better than the tenant.
I know you do it much better than the tenant. I get you, but filters are maintenance and fall on the landlord. So are batteries. So are light bulbs. If you guys have a tenant that needs a light bulb changed in the stairwell, hire somebody to go change it for them. Don't let them get a ladder, because 9 times of them, they don't have ladders and now they're standing on freaking chairs in your staircase trying to change a light bulb. Okay? So why I'm saying light bulbs, because I see you, Miss Sydney, I hear you, but you don't want to take
Hi, how are you? Can I just ask you to just put it over the bookshelf for me?
on a chair.
Oh, I thought it was Kevin. Okay, thank you.
You're talking about light bulbs outside, not inside the unit.
Either or. I don't want my tenant standing on a chair in the middle of the stairwell trying to change a light bulb in my house. If they fall and break something, they're going to sue me because I'm liable. It's my house.
Got it.
So if you have wonky light bulbs in wonky places, don't expect your tenant to change them. It's a liability for you. Patti, we don't like it when you tell us these things. Well, I'd rather tell you now than have you find out the hard way. Hey, Patti, my tenant called. They broke their neck. Really? How'd they break their neck? Well, they were standing on an office chair trying to reach the light bulb at the top of the stairwell when their child pushed the chair, and down the stairwell they went.
Send you the one.
I mean, you guys gotta understand, I've seen all kinds of things. You know the worst thing for people to move to an upstairs unit? The worst thing ever? A treadmill. Okay? And tenants do it all the time. They want to put their gym on the second floor. Yeah. A treadmill is the worst thing. They move up an interior staircase in a home. You know why? You know how many times I've went to a move out inspection and found the treadmill still sticking out of the wall in the middle of the staircase? Well, when we lost control of it and it just went through the wall, then we didn't know what to do with it. Well, what do you expect me to do with it? Make a plant rack out of it? I mean, come on, man. You now have a treadmill in the middle of a stairwell, lobbed into one of the freaking walls. It's challenging. Light bulbs are dangerous when they're standing on chairs with wheels on them trying to change the light bulb. So if they call you and tell you that they have a problem with the light bulb, send somebody else to go take care of it. It's just the easiest way to handle it, and then you don't have a huge liability. Look at it this way. If they told you about it before they did it, then you had knowledge of the liability. It's even more scary. Oops. Be careful. All right. Anybody else have anything? And I used to tell tenants all the time, if your light bulbs go out, don't call me. I can't reach them either. And for those of you that aren't paying attention, please take note that the first answer Patti gives you is probably sarcasm. Be made aware. All right, you guys, it is 98 degrees in my car. I am done. Thank you. I'm excited. I am going fishing. I will see everybody next Wednesday. If you guys need me, call me. If you need me today, give me a couple hours before you call me. I'll be where I want to go in about 2 more hours.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Pat. Catch a big fish.
Hey, you got it.
Have fun, Patti.
Trying not to catch a sunburn. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Great class.
Bye-bye.